goes from a 5 to 6?
I wouldn't know.
Well, I know you don't. I know you don't know.
Celia does smoke. Celia uses them instead of smoking.
Right. This is most definitely take 2. Peter's somewhere in Aberdeen. Jon is with me in the studio. This is Blabbing for Britain, episode 441, take 2. And we're here. Okay. Anything happened this week, Jon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A puncture at the most inconvenient time possible. I collected my daughter and her family, that's husband and my granddaughter, from the airport at Birmingham. We didn't get out of the airport before we had a puncture. So right. I've got a car full of people, a car full of luggage, and you can't stop at the airport. It's £100 if you stop at the airport. Right. It's red route everywhere. So we limped out onto the main road, looked at it, and then you don't get a spare tyre in modern cars, do you? You get a little tube of gunge. So I've had breakdown cover for my previous car and this car, so that's probably about 12 years from the insurance company. So for the first time, I called the RAC out. And they came very quickly because, of course, we've got a 4-year-old with us.
Right.
And he pumped the tyre up, identified the puncture, which looked as if a screw had gone in and then come out. What was a screw on the floor and around the airport? Who knows? He did a temporary fix, and then I drove down to the tyre place I use, Plume Tyres in Sheldon, and I said, can I book it in? Because obviously once you've done the temporary repair, you're limited to 40 mile an hour. And I said, can I book it in for a repair? And he said, drive it in and I'll do it now. So car-wise, we were back up and running within 50 minutes. No, a bit longer than 50 minutes. Took the RAC 50 minutes to arrive. But certainly in less than 2 hours, it was all sorted, which was a pleasant thing.
Yeah, I mean, when you need to call on them, they're there, aren't they? Yeah.
I wouldn't know. It's the first time in 12 years I've called on them.
Brilliant. Okay.
It's having a child with you that makes the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. I don't know whether Peter's going to come in or not. I think he's miffed.
Anyway, today I ordered a spare wheel to go in the boot. You know, one of these narrow little things.
Well, we had a wonderful start on Monday. I don't work Mondays now. Angelica doesn't work Mondays. But at 5:42 p.m. I got a phone call which basically changed our lives for the next 24 hours. I wear a cardiac monitor, and that was fitted last July, and my heart is monitored 24/7. And if there are any problems, then the heart people will give me a ring and let me know. Now, I've not heard a word until 5:42. And I got a phone call from a private number, and a sixth sense told me to take the phone call. And it was a doctor at the hospital saying that there had been an incident on my monitor, and that my heart had problems for 24 seconds. And in their opinion, I should come straight into hospital on the Monday night and be ready for an operation on the Tuesday. So Angelica would drive me over to the hospital, and then I would be there I was in total shock. Right, okay. Peter's just joined us. I was in total shock. I didn't expect, I monitor my own health. I run 3 5Ks a week. I'm as fit as I can be, fitter than I was last year. But I was being told that I needed to go into hospital for them to fit a defibrillator on the Tuesday. And if I went in, then I wouldn't have to wait. So we prepared everything, had a bite to eat, and I was still in shock. I mean, basically, I've gone from being able to do 3 5Ks a week to having a defibrillator, because if I had another incident, they said that might be my last one, which is a wake-up call, because you never think of that. Even in basically with being diagnosed with diabetes last year, I didn't see it as a life sentence. I just got on with it and worked out a plan to actually monitor and keep it in check. And I've done that. Angelica and I working together changed everything. But to get a phone call out of the blue, which says, come into hospital, you've got a major problem. If we don't fit this tomorrow, then you could not be here. Well, so we got everything ready and we set off, and we're driving down the M5 on our way to the hospital. And my phone rang again. And this time it was a consultant at the hospital. And he said, you don't need to come to the hospital. And I said, why? He said, we made a mistake. You don't have a heart problem. We misinterpreted the data from your cardiac monitor, and just carry on. Now, the sheer relief of that is amazing, but it's just that totally threw me and throughout our week. But I'm always grateful to the NHS. But on that particular day, I could have done without their making a mistake. I mean, these things should be double and triple checks before anybody phones anybody and says, you need a defibrillator. If you don't get it, then you're going to pop your clogs. That is not the way that things should be. So I've got that out in public. I'm fine, but it was one hell of a shock. And we have Peter as well.
Do we?
Yeah, we do. Hello, Peter. 1 minute. You got your fingers crossed? No.
We can see you. Now speak. We might be able to hear you then.
Yeah, we can't hear sign language. We can't hear you. I use the same setup every week, but that doesn't work. It didn't work today. This is why you're watching Blowing Through It in episode 441, take 2. I have suggested, and I think we'll do it from next week, that we all get together 5 minutes before the broadcast and check that my stuff's working, and check that Peter and John's kit is working as well. It's always a good idea to get together before the broadcast starts. Peter's looking beautiful, but there's no sound. Is that no? What's changed? I'm going to mute you and bring you back. Switch the camera off. That works. Switch the camera back on. That works. Switch your sound off. Switch your sound on.
Hello, Peter.
Peter. Peter's acting as though he can't hear us.
Well, we can hear. Can you hear us, Peter? But we can't hear you.
Right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
My God. You think you've had it bad, Stephen? No, I'm glad you're okay.
Being told you might keel over is about as bad as it gets, isn't it, Peter?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if I told you, I met my surgeon when I was in hospital the other week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't, you know, my joke and humour and things like that. I didn't realise how bad it was for you, because I said, that was enough to give you a heart attack, what they done. You know, put you to the hospital, then stop and say, no, it's okay, you're going to be okay. you got to see a wee bit of humour in it, you know.
Well, basically, I slept 2 hours on Tuesday night because we had to drive back from the hospital. We nearly got there. So I had 2 hours kip, Angelica had 2 hours kip. So Tuesday was a crap day. But we're back to normal now and sleeping okay. And you just put it as an instant. But it brings me to my major point of today, which is not personal. It's basically systems. I went to... The NHS app is the most wonderful thing that's been invented because you actually get to know your medical history, the medicines you're on. You can reorder your medicines on the app. It's a boon. It makes life a lot easier. I get a message through from Boots, your medicine's ready for collection, without going anywhere near the doctors, without getting any scripts signed, without getting anything printed out. That is beautiful. But, and this is what I've realized, the hospitals don't have access to the NHS app. Because when I went to the NHS app and I wanted to find out more about the incident, because when I told me about it, I was in shock. So I went to the NHS app and I was looking for an entry from the hospital saying this happened at such and such a time on Monday. But there's nothing there. And that's basically because the hospitals don't have access to the NHS app. So the NHS app doesn't have your full history, which means that your doctors have no idea what happens to you when you're in hospital, which to me is crazy.
Well, they do. They send your records on after.
Yeah, but why don't we know? The NHS app is visible to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I knew what treatment I had in hospital last July and what tests I took, and the doctor knew, the doctor's no idea what tests were taken or basically anything happened to any of the three of us.
Wait a minute, do you look onto the thing called My Diabetes? Yeah, the NHS thing. And you can look at every recording and stuff like that. Or is it just Scotland that gets it? I've got a My Diabetes. I log on to it.
No.
NHS. Look to see if you can get it, because basically I can go on and I can go through my whole history and I can actually go and look on at my sugar levels. I don't do it, but I can. You can go on and you can actually see your sugar levels, what your last reading was from the hospital before they even tell you. So you should look into that.
If I go to the doctors, if I go to the hospital, which is part of the doctor's practice, then everything gets recorded, and I've got my flu jab, I've got my COVID jab on there, and I've got the full history of my contact with the doctors. But it doesn't have the hospital records on there, so the hospital don't know what I've done at the doctors. The doctors don't know what we've done at the hospital. Dentists are even further out of the loop. They have no idea of your medical record at all. Why can't we just bring even chiropodists and chiropractors? Why can't they be on the NHS app?
Do you know what I think it's probably to do? But probably with GDPR, probably. If a private consultant deals with you for your feet or whatever, well, they've no right to see the rest of the stuff and all that. But it should all be fed into one hub. But if you look it up, it's called My Diabetes, and we've got that up, but it's all pertaining to your diabetes record.
I've got the diabetes app on my phone, which came with the device. So I've got a full record there on my phone at the moment, but I will check it. I will check it out. But that's,
can I just stop? Can I just 1 sec?
Yeah.
I'm having. If I take these off, can you still hear me speaking?
Yeah, because your microphone is nothing to do with your headset.
Yeah, but the problem, I can't. If I'm watching YouTube just now on my iPad, I can't hear it without any of these things, right? I've got to put those in to hear it, and then it's stuck. Take off Bluetooth, and it still won't play a song. I've done everything, so what happened this morning when I come on, Stephen? I actually got in earlier, And I thought it was me, and I was getting frustrated. It was you, because we couldn't hear you, and it came off. And I tried to, so I'm on the iPad app now. Okay. Now, what I think is, if we go to time, we should give 10 minutes extra today, and for phones to put it into an hour or whatever. What do you think?
Well, we'll carry on until we run out of steam, basically. Yeah. Okay.
Well.
Johnny, you okay for an extra 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
My diabetes was pioneered in Scotland and is available nationwide. NHS wide now.
Right.
I thought I'd look it up while Peter was rabbiting.
Right. Okay. Thank you, John. I mean, I'm more worried about the central, as you said, Peter, put it all together. So that everybody who's in the health service knows. So
you should go to your local MP, tell them the situation, and I'm sure this Labour government will fix that for you. They'll get it done for you.
I know that's partly tongue in cheek, Peter, but basically I'm actually thinking of starting a petition to get recognition of the fact that the services that we rely on are not connected. If somebody comes back to me and says, okay, the hospitals will be on the app, then that's end of story. Yeah. But to me, the doctors should be on there.
What's your main beef about it?
The doctor hasn't got a clue that I was basically, right, I tell you the way this works. I've got my app, and the doctor is on there, and I've got my full medical history from the doctor, and I've got all my medicines, and I can order medicines, and that works fine. I can also, because I've got messaging with the practice, I can write to the doctor. I don't have to go in person to the doctor. I can message a doctor, or I can message one of the medical staff by name. So I went to the app on Wednesday. I gave it a day, and I looked at it, and I thought, there's nothing about my being told that I'm about to pop my clogs. There's nothing. And I thought, well, why is that? So I sent a message to the doctors via the NHS app saying, yesterday at 5:32, I was told to go to the hospital and be admitted and have an operation for a defibrillator. And then whilst we were driving there, we were told that the hospital visit wasn't necessary. And just a minute, I'll read the reply. I can get into my phone, just a minute. How is it when you want something to work, it doesn't? So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go, okay, and I'm just going to go, this is live. The phone is starting. I'm going to go into the NHS app, because this is the crux of the problem. If you want to talk amongst yourselves for a minute, why actually?
Okay. So I came into Birmingham. I didn't disturb you, John, because I know you're a busy man and your wife.
All right. When did you arrive?
Oh, I arrived at 8 o'clock in the morning in Birmingham.
And which day?
Tuesday.
And guess where I was on Tuesday morning?
Where?
Birmingham Airport.
You are joking.
No, I'm not. I picked Alice, Andrew and Dottie up at the airport 10:30ish.
Well, that's strange. I was in the airport.
And then I got stranded, Peter, because on the way out of the airport with 3 people in the car, all the luggage, I got a puncture.
Oh, no.
And it meant I had to drive out of the airport with a puncture, because it's £100 if you stop on the red lines.
Night. Oh, Stephen.
It's okay. I'm just trying to.
So
right.
if I'd have known you were there, I could have come to the airport a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Never mind, Pete. Next time down, we'll try and communicate a bit better.
Yeah. So what? Just put your finger up, Stephen. You know we're ready. You know we'll chat. So what I've done? Oh, there you go. Permission granted.
Thank you very much. basically, as we were saying a moment ago, I looked at the NHS app, which is on my phone, and there was nothing about going to a hospital on there. So I messaged, I was able to send a message to my practice, and I said, this is the message I sent to them, which I'll get in a second. Okay, we'll get there. All right, so my message was, on Tuesday, I received a phone call from reporting an incident on my heart monitor. They advised that I needed to have a defibrillator fitted and should report for an operation the following day. We're on our way to a further phone call from a consultant there, advised me that the heart monitor reading had been incorrectly interpreted. I did not get it fitted. But the doctor, can you help explain this? And this is what I'm saying today. I got a reply which said, sorry to hear that. It must have been very worrying. Unfortunately, I only have the information you just given me to explain it to you. I suggest you speak to cardiology direct.
Well,
so the doctor has no idea what's happened. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Just to let you know, Stephen, you're breaking up. I got what you said, but I don't know about you, John. Did you find it intermittent?
No, it was fine.
Okay, that's fine.
It's your Scottish air that's the problem.
I'm still in Milton Keynes. I'm in Milton Keynes.
Are you in Milton Keynes?
I'm traveling to Birmingham after we finish. I'm packing up, and I'm traveling to Birmingham Airport. You can meet me for a coffee if you want. I'll pay you back.
What time?
Yeah.
Let's talk afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. So, Stephen, I've got to say, were you fearing for your life at that point that other day?
No. 5:42 and the second. Yes, I was.
Okay. I didn't
John,
realise.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, just a second.
Okay.
And
well, you've got hotel Wi-Fi, haven't you?
I'm in a hotel Wi-Fi. Yeah. And, I'm just going to try something with that. You know what's annoying me? My iPod tells me I've got earphones in, right? It's the earphone thing's on, but I'm not using earphones. I've got a bit of but I'll have to go into the Apple shop when I go back, you know. So I'm going to try. So I'm trying it in this mode, right? So in this mode, I don't have any buttons. It's full screen now. Can you see me?
It was better before.
Yeah, we can see you.
Right, hold on. It's just that I've got today my battery's nearly running out. Okay, so that's me plugged in. Right, okay. Now, I've got a serious thing to ask. I'm glad you're okay, Stephen. I know that was
Thank you.
a scare, and it makes you think again. And yeah. Now,
it does. I mean, I went out for a 5K yesterday. Peter, carry on.
Did you know something historical happened the other day? Yesterday.
Not yet, not yet.
Yeah, there's a new president of the United States coming in. President-elect.
Old presidents of the United States.
Is it anybody we know?
Sorry?
Is it anybody we know?
I'll tell you what I've enjoyed. All the YouTube channels that says lefties going into meltdown. All the news even that Channel 4 correspondent, she started. Emily Maitlis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She even started swearing live on telly because he won, and she walked off a set. And
Yeah.
Krishna Guramuni said, I will speak to her about that later. And another guy on Sky News, he says, I'm sorry to burst your bubble of doom and gloom, but he says, I'm going to inject some happiness into the programme. and they've been getting ripped apart. Now the Democrats are starting to say, do you know something? You were to blame for this. You were to blame for this. And Joe Biden's wife, Dr. Jill Biden, guess what she went into the polling station? What was she wearing?
Clothes.
A bright red suit, which is the Republican colour. There's going to be a lot of infighting there shortly. It's all going to come out. And us people that would have voted for Trump, we're just laughing at the meltdown. There's going to be water everywhere as the lefties. There'll be big meltings.
They've got 4 years. They've now got 4 years to find somebody, make sure that they're known nationally, to put together a set of policies, to actually explain the policies, and take account of the fact that they came second, and they lost by 4.5 million votes, and their approach was the wrong one, and so many things went wrong on the way. I mean, to watch one of the rallies it was a celebration, but it didn't hit home. People worried about the economy. I mean, the thing is that we know we've had inflation, and we know whenever you've got inflation, prices go up and they don't go down again. Yeah. And that's what's happened in the States. I mean, prices 2 years ago shot up, just like they did here. And people remember what happened 2 years ago. They don't realise, or they don't take account of the fact that inflation never reduces prices. And they're remembering what happened 2 years ago, 14% inflation, 2% now. And it doesn't matter, does it, Peter? Because it's the 14% that sticks in the memory. Yeah. And another thing as well, when she announced her candidacy, she said, I am here and I am going to represent and look after the middle class. Now, the point of saying that was she wasn't going to look after millionaires and billionaires. She was going to look after the middle class, which cuts out the working class. And the working class said, and I'm going to swear on here because it seems to be a thing these days, the working class said, stuff you.
Yeah. And not only the working class, the black working class, the Latinos, the Mexicans, they're all voting for Trump, you know. Mm. And I saw somebody going into a liberal area, a Democrat area, hoping to get, good camera to stand in there. And there were absolutely everybody that come up and said, so who will you be voting for? What do you... In a pure Democrat area, I said, I'll be voting Trump. Mm. And this is black people. And the guy was absolutely shocked. He says, why? And they give them the reasons why. And listen, I know you're not keen on Trump, but you've got to hand it to that guy. What a comeback. And he's
one man against the world. I've got to agree that it is a momentous feat. It defines the word indefatigable.
Yeah, no. The other laugh that we're having, because it was called out in Parliament, the Kemi Baganoff leaned over and said, Prime Minister, what are you going to do about the foreign minister calling him, and I'll give you the words, called him a Nazi and a racist and this and that and that. That man is our foreign secretary. And he's to deal with Donald Trump's administration now, after calling him everything. And they even remember this says they banned him from coming to Parliament. This is, are you going to extend it? And then if Donald Trump falls out with Britain and said, well, we won't be helping you. If the Argentinians decide to take the Falklands back, we're not helping you. Why should we help you? Ask your foreign secretary about it. It's not our fight. Because we don't have enough ships now to take on the Argentinians.
Donald Trump's skin is so thick that a flea bite from our foreign secretary doesn't even register.
Do you know what I'm interested in? He hasn't mentioned Ukraine or anything yet, right?
Nope. Yeah.
In Israel. But if that's what you're doing, he says, you'll probably say, I haven't got onto that yet. But two things I predict when he comes in right away. One, he will say, finish the wall, get that wall built.
Yeah.
And then he will say, release the January 6th people that have been rotting in prison. Because you know these people have been sitting rotting in prison for how long now? 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
And they've not even went to court.
Right.
And they're sitting there and they could be innocent until trial, until proven guilty. Right?
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, you know all these people in Britain that got arrested and they said if you admit it, you'll get short sentence. One man, an ex-prison officer, he says, no, I will not admit it. And he went right up to a jury and he was admonished. The only one to say no. So that, I mean, have you any predictions of what Trump will do, guys?
I think that he will do things. He won't just think about them. He'll just go and do them. Executive order.
Yeah.
He will do good stuff and he'll do stuff that I wouldn't agree with and half America don't agree with. The problem is that just like the UK, really, Western UK, he has a divided nation. 68 million people voted against him. Half the nation. So I don't think he's bothered about them. I don't think he's bothered about anybody apart from his friends. But that's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
I think as far as Ukraine is concerned, he will have a different approach. And he will have an approach of banging heads together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon you'll say we'll have to put in a buffer zone. Get a buffer zone in there, stop the fighting, and argue over the table.
Oh yeah, it's got to
get NATO involved or get UN involved, troops like that. Get European troops to do it for them. Get all the European troops in to help them out. Create up a buffer zone and then have a chat with Putin.
Yeah.
And I'd be interested to see what happens with that.
All he has to do is to threaten to stop supplying arms to Ukraine, arms to Israel. He's got the grit. He's switched the tap off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got something on Russia as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just use the power.
What about you, John? Have you any thoughts?
Me, I think he'll pull out of doing anything in Eastern Europe and let Putin get on with it.
But really, do you think you'll just let them get on with it? Because he's always said, I'm paying a lot of money to you to protect you, and you've not even paid your way. That's what happened last time. You've not even given enough money. Why should we pay it all? Get your act together.
That's one major thing that did happen whilst he was president. He did say that picture, and basically there are now 25 countries in NATO are actually paying what they're supposed to, and there was one. There was one before.
He's a doer because he also says, I'm making the United States of American, what do you call it, office in Israel. It's going to Jerusalem. And he done that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's happened about it. Nothing's happened. They've done it.
Yeah.
And every other president says, yeah, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. He was the one that done it. It's done. It's going in. what am I talking about? The American Embassy. That's the word I was looking for, guys. Yeah? And, but anyway, you go and have a chat together while I just do something on here that's come in. Okay, guys, if that's okay.
Anything's fine. I can't get used to these breaks we keep having in football. I mean, we used to be able to watch football.
I just thought totally bloody ridiculous. Oh, we'll have an international break. Why?
I'll switch your microphone off, Peter. Yeah, it's just all disjointed. There's no rhythm to it, is there? Yeah.
I just
should be every Saturday.
Why do we turn off 2 entire leagues because we need 23 people to be in a squad?
Yeah. Doesn't make sense. Which is more important? I'm going to argue here that the Premiership and the Championship are more important to us than anything else.
Yeah.
They're one-off competition. We should have. Yeah. It's just I'm obviously on a hobby horse today. So yeah.
Now we've got a German running the English squad. That makes me even more annoyed. Why can't we have an English man running the English squad?
Yeah, the immortal line: England playing Germany at Wembley, and at the end of the game, whatever happens, Germany won. I think that I want to hear that once. Yeah, I'd love to hear Motti saying it. That would be good. Just like Mr. Kenneth Wolstenholme, iconic commentator. Okay, just to acknowledge, England are in the West Indies playing cricket. We've just gotten beaten 2-1. So that's John's banging his head against the table. If you can't see us, Royston Radio, hello. In actual fact, if I go here, we can all take a break for a minute. Well, no, it's only seconds long, isn't it? Unfortunately.
You're listening to Royston Radio, the station where community is our middle name.
Okay, so that's the advert. That's the only advert today. I think that's it. I'm just looking through I've got a series of media videos. I got a result yesterday. I broadcast on Wednesdays for OneStream Live on their YouTube channel, and I was asked to reveal the new OneStream Live Black Friday offer. Now, I know Black Friday is not for a couple of weeks yet, but their offer starts now, and you can get 20% off if you pay monthly for 2 months, and you get 10% off an annual plan. So it's a genuine saving. And put your hand up, Peter, when you want your mic back on. Genuine saving. And after the show, I actually play the recording or put the recording into the OneStream Live Facebook group. And I woke up this morning to a comment saying, "Thank you for the information. I've just bought 2. That's selling. I don't sell, but that was selling. And that just came about because it's all about being in the right place at the right time.
Did you get any commission?
No, but it's a Black Friday offer, so there's no commission on a Black Friday offer as far as I know. But I don't put. I mean, I'm actually working for OneStream Live, so I don't put any links there as well. So yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, hang on.
Peter wants to talk.
Yeah, you could put his hand up. No problem.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'll have to put it physically up because the app doesn't have the hand. Okay?
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. So I was sitting at breakfast this morning, and a man I met many years ago when I was involved with a big pest control thing. And he came, Scotsman actually, sit down. How old are you now, Ian? He says, I'm 73. And he'd invented a rat box, and I didn't know it was him. And he's actually getting a lot of money from it. So just chatting about life. And for all that time, he says, I remember you, Peter. you were good with the computers and marketing years ago. And I thought, oh, thank you very much. And we were just going about, and the biggest pest control business next door to me in Aberdeen has just been sold, and to a big company that's buying people all. And the guy was there that bought it all. Big companies. I'm not a big company. And the guy next, I just leaned over their table, and this guy next to him said, "This is Peter Stewart. You need to get his card." Yeah.
Right.
And people were coming me. I'm walking. I was on my own. People were going, "Are you Peter from Abercarr?" Because that's me. And I'll fall my way up in Aberdeen. Boy, am I very well known in the industry. I just think, and it's all about networking. You know.
Yeah.
Now, John, where about the airport is? I've told you where the airport is. The Starbucks there at the train station, the international train station now, right? As you got it.
Are you on the train then, Peter? You're
No,
coming back on the train.
I'm coming back on the train to the airport.
Right. Okay, no.
Right.
Well, let's talk about that after this.
Yeah. So basically, so how's that guy at 73? I says, "What you doing? You're retiring, you selling up?" And he goes, "No, I'm passing it on to my daughter. She's 30. And I was telling her about a new software that I use for the business, which is going all right. He says, "I'll have to get her to meet online." All these little things. It's great. It's great. And I was speaking to a franchisor, and they're happy. And I says, "How are you getting on?" He says, "I can't take on any more work. I don't even advertise. No pay-per-click or nothing." And he says, "But just stole it." I says, "That tells me you could put your prices up by about 25%. So never, because he's just rock solid, but he may be doing work it's not profitable, but he's still busy, if you know what I mean. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here. Listen, I've got to tell you, I'm sitting in a room here, right? And do you know what it does? It's the Hilton. Oh, bit of plug there. And I'm looking right onto the Marshall Arena for a football pitch. So if you were booked in here, you could watch it. The football.
Just get some binoculars.
No, it's to slow you part of the crowd. Hold on, wait a minute.
All right.
Oh, I won't. Hold on, I can do it. So there you go.
Oh, wow.
A Milton Keynes Dons.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you stay at Milton Keynes Bowl then?
Hold on. Say it again, Tom.
You're at Milton Keynes Bowl then? Is that where the hotel is?
Well, it's the Marshall Arena, it's called.
Yeah, it used to be called Milton Keynes Bowl before that.
Yeah. And so if you were booked in here, you could watch a match if they're that way inclined. And to the right of here was the exhibition centre. And you've got Asda next to it, and you've got Costa Coffee next to it, you've got McDonald's. So it's a great place once you get there, but it's not so good when you try to get here. It's a bit awkward. So I was at the top. I was at the top table last night, and they're giving this massive room to myself. Great. Enjoyed it. Anyway, back to you guys.
Okay, so I'm gonna find out more about doctors and hospitals and see if there is anything on the cards for linking doctors to hospitals. And I think dentists. Well, I want it to be any person working for the NHS has access to the information. So we were better served if your doctor knows what happened in hospital. It helps them, and if your consultant in the hospital knows what happens to your doctors, that helps them as well. So it's a win-win situation, and you know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I would really go and see who's your MP. Is it Labour, Liberal, or what?
It's Conservative.
right, should go and see them and say, listen, here's my problem.
Yeah.
What's happening with that? And if you tell them, they find out. Otherwise, they don't find out. Have a meeting.
That's a good idea. I may well do that, Peter. I may well do that. Okay. Well, I'm hoping for a quieter week next week. I'll tell you. I don't want to hear anything from the hospital ever again. I just want us all to be here in 4 years' time, just after the American elections take place. That's my wish. That's the only wish I have, for all of us to be here 4 years from now. Yeah. So it's a date, sometime in November 2028.
You got to have a purpose for being here, John, Stephen.
Oh yeah. As long as my good looks hold, my voice holds, then I'll be live broadcasting.
Yeah. Wow. I just looked at Uber. Guess how much it is to get to Birmingham here by Uber?
Oh, 63 quid.
£102.30. I paid £12 to come on the flight down. Wow.
Can you go by bus, Peter?
Say that again?
Can you go by bus?
Yeah, well, what I'm going to do is get Uber to Milton Keynes train station, and I've got an open return, and as long as I go via, go to Birmingham Airport International.
Yeah.
It's the international. Then you go in a little sci-fi buggy. You go in a buggy thing, a real monorail, and that takes you to the airport.
I'll tell you a little story about that.
Yeah.
The predecessor, yeah, because it's sort of magnetic. It used to be called maglev. It's now replaced. Yeah, because it's all got rubber wheels on it nowadays. But back in the 80s, I won a trip across Europe, and we chose to go on the Orient Express. And I got a taxi to the airport, and then Celia and I and our luggage went across using the maglev to the airport, to Birmingham International. When we got to the other end, the bloody doors wouldn't open. And in the end, I had to literally force the doors open.
I think I'll listen, guys. I know I said we'd stay a little later, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my journey just
okay.
So what
John,
time are you expecting to be back to be at Birmingham International, Pete?
Well, it takes an hour and 20 minutes from Milton Keynes. So if I get in there at 12, that's what, about 1:30. And then my flight's at 16:10, but I like to go through the area. But you have to maybe 2 hours, but an hour would be okay for me. But so what I'll do? How long does it take you to come to the airport?
Oh, well, I'd rather meet you at Birmingham International than the airport.
Right. So what
the minimum charge for car parking at the airport is £9.50.
All right.
You can get an entire day at Birmingham International Station for £3.30.
Right. So what to do is I'll keep in touch on Messenger or something, right?
Okay.
And
so you're anticipating being there, what, about 1:30, did you say?
About 1:30 or something like that.
Okay. So I'll pick Phil up, drop him home, and then head over in that direction.
To meet you for a call.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, hope to see you all next week. Yeah.
Over to John. Over to you.
It's goodbye to Stephen, and I'm hoping to meet Peter for the first time in, I don't know, how many years have I known you now online? 6 years or something like that. Well, 8 years. We ran for a good while, just the two of us originally, but yeah.
And so, I'm going to let him buy my coffee.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.